The year was 1975, the place, Amityville, Long Island, a sleepy suburb draped in the normalcy of everyday life. But beneath the facade of picket fences and manicured lawns, a storm was brewing. At 112 Ocean Avenue, a large Dutch colonial house stood ominous and brooding. It seemed to watch the street with vacant eyes, holding its breath. This was no ordinary house. This was a house of shadows, a house of whispers. This is the story of the Amityville Horror, a story so chilling, so deeply unsettling that it has seeped into the very fabric of American folklore. The house on Ocean Avenue became an object of morbid curiosity. Passers-by would slow their cars, their gazes drawn to the darkened windows. The air around the house seemed heavy, thick with an unspoken dread. Then, just 13 months after the murders, a new family moved in. George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 young children, were a young family looking for a fresh start. They saw the house on Ocean Avenue as an opportunity, a chance to create new memories within its walls. But the low price came with a catch, a whispered warning that seemed to cling to the house's very foundation. Days turned into nights, and the events at 112 Ocean Avenue escalated with terrifying speed. The Lutz family, once so full of hope, found themselves trapped in a nightmare of their own. The house was no longer a home, but a prison of fear. Whispers turned to growls, cold touches became violent shoves. The children's imaginary friends took on a sinister tone, their laughter replaced with threats. George, once a strong and level-headed man, became increasingly erratic. He was plagued by nightmares, his sleep filled with visions of violence and despair. Kathy, desperate to hold her family together, tried to rationalize the events, but the truth was undeniable. Driven to the brink by the relentless horror that had invaded their home, the Lutz family reached out for help. They contacted their local parish priest, Father Ray Pecoraro, a man of God known for his compassion and understanding. Hearing their frantic pleas, Father Pecoraro agreed to visit 112 Ocean Avenue, hoping to offer solace and perhaps shed light on the unsettling events. As Father Pecoraro stepped across the threshold of the house, he felt an immediate shift in the atmosphere. The air grew heavy, charged with an oppressive energy that seemed to press down upon him. Despite his initial apprehension, Father Pecoraro pressed on, determined to offer comfort to the terrified Lutz family. News of the haunting at 112 Ocean Avenue spread like wildfire through the community, fueled by whispers and speculation. The Lutz family's account of their experiences, though terrifying, was met with a mix of skepticism and disbelief. Many dismissed their claims as an elaborate hoax, a bid for attention, or perhaps even financial gain. The house, once a symbol of suburban tranquility, became a source of morbid fascination, attracting curiosity seekers and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Among those who doubted the Lutz family's story were local law enforcement officials. They pointed to the lack of concrete evidence, the absence of any physical proof to support the claims of supernatural activity. The house, though undeniably eerie, held no visible signs of a haunting. As days turned into weeks, the Lutz family found themselves increasingly isolated, trapped between the unrelenting horror within their home and the growing disbelief of the outside world. The paranormal activity continued unabated, each terrifying encounter a grim reminder that they were not alone. The children, once full of life and laughter, grew withdrawn and fearful, their sleep plagued by nightmares of unseen entities. George, his once strong demeanor crumbling under the weight of the haunting, became increasingly erratic. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue stood as a silent witness to a history far darker than its charming facade suggested. Built in 1925, the Dutch colonial house had seen its share of occupants, each leaving behind their own energy, their own imprint on the property. But it was the darkness that lingered, the echoes of tragedy that clung to the very foundation of the house, that truly set it apart. The DeFeo murders were not the beginning of the horror at 112 Ocean Avenue. They were merely a chapter in a much longer, more sinister story. Local historians and amateur occultists whispered tales of the land itself, long before the house was built. Some claimed that the area was once a Native American burial ground, a sacred space desecrated by the arrival of European settlers. Others spoke of dark rituals performed on the property, of ancient malevolent forces summoned and bound to the land. While the history of the land itself was shrouded in mystery and speculation, the specter that haunted 112 Ocean Avenue most prominently was that of Ronald DeFeo Jr., the perpetrator of the gruesome murders that had paved the way for the Lutz family's terrifying ordeal. DeFeo, a troubled young man with a history of drug abuse and mental instability, had become the embodiment of evil in the eyes of many. DeFeo's trial, a media sensation that captivated the nation, offered a chilling glimpse into the mind of a killer. He claimed that voices, emanating from the house itself, had compelled him to murder his family. As the Lutz family struggled to cope with the terrifying events unfolding around them, they began to delve deeper into the history of 112 Ocean Avenue, hoping to find answers. They scoured local archives, poring over old newspaper clippings and historical records, searching for any mention of unusual occurrences. Their research uncovered a series of unsettling incidents dating back decades. There were reports of unexplained illnesses, of families driven to the brink of madness by unseen forces. One particularly chilling account detailed the story of a young couple who had lived in the house in the 1950s. As the Lutz family delved deeper into the history of their home, a chilling theory began to take shape in their minds. What if 112 Ocean Avenue was not merely haunted, but served as a gateway, a portal to a realm of darkness beyond human comprehension? They learned that the land on which the house was built had once been used by a group of occultists who believed that the area was a nexus of powerful earth energies. Some whispered that these rituals had gone horribly wrong, that the occultists had inadvertently opened a doorway to a realm of darkness. The Lutz family's story, a chilling tale of a suburban nightmare, reached the ears of Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators. The Warrens, a deeply religious couple, approached each investigation with a blend of scientific curiosity and unwavering faith. Intrigued by the sheer intensity of the Lutz family's claims, the Warrens agreed to visit 112 Ocean Avenue. Ed Warren, a demonologist with a vast knowledge of the occult, approached the case with cautious skepticism. He sensed a darkness at play, a malevolent intelligence that sent chills down his spine, even from afar. Ed and Lorraine Warren, firm believers in blending traditional investigative techniques with their understanding of the paranormal, brought with them a collection of tools and instruments. Ed, a trained police officer, approached the investigation with a methodical eye, meticulously documenting every observation. He set up cameras throughout the house, hoping to capture photographic evidence of the alleged phenomena. Lorraine, guided by her intuition and her psychic abilities, focused on sensing the emotional residue of the house. She described feeling a crushing weight in certain areas of the house, particularly in the basement and the second-floor bedroom where the DeFeo murders had taken place. As the Warrens continued their investigation, the house at 112 Ocean Avenue seemed to react to their presence. Doors slammed shut on their own, seemingly manipulated by an unseen hand. Furniture moved across the floor, scraping against the wooden planks. The air grew icy cold in certain areas of the house, despite the furnace working overtime to ward off the winter chill. Lorraine claimed to have direct contact with the entities residing within the house. She engaged in what she called psychic conversations, her voice a low murmur, her eyes closed as if in a trance. She relayed messages from the spirits, some filled with sorrow and regret, others laced with anger and malice. She described seeing the ghostly apparition of a young girl. Her eyes filled with sadness, her voice a mournful whisper. Armed with their findings and deeply concerned for the well-being of the Lutz family, the Warrens decided to perform a series of blessings and cleansing rituals on the property. They believed that the house, steeped in a history of tragedy and permeated by malevolent energies, required a spiritual cleansing. With the Lutz family watching from a safe distance, the Warrens moved through the house, room by room, reciting prayers, burning sage, and sprinkling holy water. The atmosphere crackled with tension as the spiritual cleansing commenced. Lorraine, her face pale with concentration, called out to the spirits, commanding them to leave, to find peace in the afterlife. The Warrens departed 112 Ocean Avenue, leaving behind a house eerily silent. The Lutz family, though relieved by the palpable shift in energy, remained deeply shaken. The 28 days they had spent within those cursed walls had left an indelible mark, their lives forever altered by the horrors they had witnessed. They faced an uncertain future, their story doubted by many, their sanity questioned. Physically and emotionally drained, the Lutzes sought refuge with Kathy's relatives, their former home now a distant nightmare. Word of the Warrens' involvement at 112 Ocean Avenue and their chilling conclusions spread like wildfire, igniting a media firestorm that propelled the Amityville story onto the national stage. Newspapers and magazines ran sensational headlines chronicling the Lutz family's harrowing tale, showcasing chilling photographs of the house and detailing the Warrens' findings, fueling the public's fascination with the paranormal and turning the Amityville Horror into a household name. The Lutz family, thrust into the spotlight, found themselves bombarded by interview requests, their story dissected and debated on television talk shows and radio programs. They faced a barrage of questions, some sympathetic, others skeptical, their every word scrutinized, their motives questioned, their sanity doubted. The media frenzy, while amplifying their story, also brought unwanted scrutiny, intruding upon their lives as they struggled to cope with the aftermath of their ordeal. The Amityville story, despite its chilling details and the Warrens' involvement, faced its share of skeptics and detractors. Critics pointed to inconsistencies in the Lutz family's accounts, questioning their motives and suggesting that they had embellished or fabricated details to profit from their experiences. Some dismissed the paranormal claims altogether, attributing the events to environmental factors, psychological stress, or even outright fraud. Skeptical investigators, armed with scientific instruments and a healthy dose of doubt, descended upon 112 Ocean Avenue, seeking to debunk the claims of hauntings and demonic activity. They conducted air quality tests, measured electromagnetic fields, and searched for any evidence of elaborate hoaxes. While some acknowledged the house's eerie atmosphere and couldn't readily explain certain anomalies, they found no conclusive evidence to support the claims of supernatural phenomena. The Amityville Horror, despite ongoing debates about its authenticity, has left an enduring legacy on American culture. The house's quarter-moon windows, like vacant eyes, symbolize domestic horror, sending shivers down spines. A mix of real tragedy, alleged supernatural events, and media sensationalism has blurred fact and fiction, marking the horror landscape. 112 Ocean Avenue has inspired countless books, documentaries, and films, each adding layers of interpretation. From Jay Anson's best-selling book to numerous film adaptations, the story captivates with its blend of the familiar and the macabre. The Amityville Horror is a modern ghost story, a reminder that darkness can lurk in unexpected places. The true impact of the Amityville Horror lies not in the verifiable evidence, but in the profound effect it has on the human psyche. It speaks to our primal fears, our deep-seated anxieties about the unknown, the possibility that our homes, our sanctuaries, could be invaded by forces beyond our control. The story resonates with us because it taps into a universal human experience, the vulnerability we all feel when confronted with the inexplicable. The Amityville Horror, regardless of its authenticity, has become a cultural touchstone, a shared experience that continues to spark debate and fuel our fascination with the unknown. It serves as a chilling reminder that some stories, even those shrouded in doubt, leave an indelible mark on our